Hello, 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 and welcome to a brand new episode of Potstilled Live. As always, I am your host, Matt Healy, and I am delighted to be welcoming you to this fantastic episode on a very wet and windy June evening in Dublin. I am sitting here absolutely soaked to the bone, having taken the dog for a walk. And tonight, I have promised you a fantastic discussion and introduction with the Belfast Whiskey Week. We are to be joined by Paul Kane, who is the founder of what is now the world's largest whiskey festival. But in the meantime, before he joins us, because we're having a little bit of technical difficulties with Paul, I'm going to be joined by friend of the show, Conor Winders, who is the founder of the Irish Whiskey app, who is working in association with Belfast Whiskey Week this year. So I'm going to drag him kicking and screaming into the show from his lovely home. Also, I believe in a very wet and windy Dublin. So welcome to the show, Conor. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Matt. Thanks for having me on. And yeah, it's never kicking and screaming when it's an opportunity to chat about whiskey and maybe even have a sip or two. So I'm delighted to be here. Like you, I was out in the rain. My kids have started camogie recently, and right as they started camogie, the weather just started getting bad. So it's not pleasant out there at all.
It took a turn, did it?
Oh, it did, yeah.
Well, so, sir, for everyone out there, I gave a brief rundown. You've joined us on the show before as one of our special guests because you know on Potstilled Live, I love bringing in surprise guests whenever we're having discussion with different people. This is the Belfast Whiskey Week takeover, and I believe you're working with the app in association. It's a brand new app. It is launched. It is flying. It's beautiful orange themed colors, orange and black, which, if you haven't noticed already, are also the Potstilled colors. So I'm loving it. So tell us about your association with Belfast Whiskey Week this year.
Yeah, so we're delighted to be one of the sponsors of the festival this year. Obviously, as you've mentioned already, it's now the world's largest whiskey festival. So to have the opportunity as a brand new app and a very small startup company to be associated with something of that scale and that prestige is it's really fantastic for us. So we're working on a couple of new features for the app as well that we hope to launch during Belfast Whiskey Week. So it's pretty exciting for us.
And for you, I suppose, as a new business owner, obviously you've come from the tech world and you're deep diving into the app world of Irish whiskey. What is the partnership look like for you in Belfast Whiskey Week? What do you hope people do with the app? Obviously, there's a lot of new exciting bottlings coming up. I know you've been hounding different brands to make sure all of the details are up ahead of Belfast Whiskey. What is it, I suppose, the lead up look like for you, and what are the users going to be able to do with the app in Belfast Whiskey Week?
Yeah, so there's the basics of really what the app does today, which is give you facts and truths about the different bottlings and the different brands. And that's one of the things that we're really striving for and we're quite proud of, is working directly with the brands and the distilleries to make sure that what you read in our app about a brand or about a bottle or an expression is the truth. It is the facts about how long it's spent in each different cask and so on. So, during the course of the week, we hope to have as many, if not all, of at least the Irish whiskies that are on display or being showcased during the week will be in the app. And so as you're going through tastings, as you're participating in tastings and even just conversations, you'll be able to pull up those facts during it. And we're also working on, improving our tasting interface and our tasting experience in the app as well. So at the moment, you can go in, you can read the official tasting notes from the brands themselves, but you can also go in and add your own. So on iPhone at the moment, but coming very, very soon on Android, we've got thousands of different tasting profiles in there that you can select and build up your own taste profile for particular bottles that you can share with people. You can see what the community is adding as tasting notes and so on as well. So that's kind of there today, but it's somewhat of a asynchronous experience. What we're looking to launch at Belfast Whiskey Week will be a live experience. So as you're doing a tasting with the group and you're adding tastes to a particular bottle, you're going to see that appear in the app, but everybody else is going to see it appear in the app at the exact same time. You're going to see little graphs going up and down showing what taste people are selecting in the different profiles. So we think that's a really, really exciting feature, and there's no better time to launch something like that than at a festival all about whiskey. So for us, that's super exciting. Between now and then, it's really a lot of hard work and making sure that's there, that works, and also making sure that we have all the details and all the brands in there. So it's a lot of work, but it's fantastic to see it when it all comes together.
Absolutely. I just give it a little spin of the app wheel there, an absolutely fantastic interface, and the quality and the production is fantastic. And I've got a little sepia toned here, and I'm not really sure how I can. Sure, look, as I said, orange is our favorite color here in Potstilled, so we're fine with it. The app, you can log your own whiskey collection, and as we go through the Belfast Whiskey Week, of course, we're going to be trying a lot of different whiskies, add your own tasting notes. Especially, there's going to be 4 different festival bottlings people are going to be able to pick up, so you're going to get, I presume, a lot of the information there as well. And then as well as that, I know Sarah Kennedy dropped in there a moment ago in the comments section. And actually, funnily enough, I have neatly stacked the whiskies behind me as some of the northern brands I could find in my whiskey collection. And the one I was trying to find was my McConnell's bottle. And I actually realized my neighbors stole it on me. I made them some Irish coffees, and they nicked my bottle of McConnell's, which I'm very nonplussed about. But
I can see why they did it, though.
Exactly. Exactly. I know exactly why they did it, because it's delicious. And if anyone follows me online, and I presume if you're watching this, you may do, McConnell's is definitely a big favorite brand of mine at the moment. And they, I believe, are one of the highest rated brands on your app as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, from very early on, and actually Sarah's fantastic. So before we'd even launched the app, we had chatted with Sarah, and she gave us the lowdown, all the details, really great imagery and stuff for McConnell's. So we had McConnell's in there from day one, and pretty understandably, it just consistently gets great ratings. It's always one of the highest rated bottles in there, which. I know it's a historic brand, but in terms of its relaunch, it's still relatively new. So to see it do so well amongst so many other bottles in there is fantastic. That's one of the things that I really love about working on this app, is when you see some of the newer or the smaller brands start to creep into those, top 20, top 10, top 5 rated positions in the app. I think that's just fantastic.
And I'm wondering, are there any surprises in the app in terms of ratings or brands that really stand out? Like that McConnell's, it's punching very nicely in its weight class. And I'm assuming that now with your partnership with Belfast Whiskey Week, you're going to get a lot more of the ratings, a lot more reviews coming through with it, because Paul has, I think, 67 distilleries involved, 30 more brands on top of that. I think there's 250 hours worth of content. And different tastings. So I presume there's going to be a lot of population. Do you think we're going to see some of maybe some of the smaller brands or the indie brands coming through that'll jump up the ratings that little bit more?
I think we will, but we already see it. So Two Stacks is a fantastic example. Two Stacks are forever getting really, really high ratings. And the way the rating system in the app works is to try and make it fair. It recalibrates itself pretty much every single day to make sure that an app or a bottle that's been in there from day one doesn't have an unfair advantage over a bottle that goes in on day 50, for example. So even with the ratings recalibrating themselves consistently, Two Stacks are one of the top 5 rated whiskies in there, with the apricot brandy at the moment. WD O'Connell are consistently moving up the ratings as well. So I think we'll see more of that, especially with something like Belfast Whiskey Week, with so many people involved, experiencing such a wide variety of whiskies. I really expect, and I hope we're going to see a lot of movement in those ratings.
Well, I know we mentioned there McConnell's a moment ago. I believe they're actually the first company to open on the Friday the 23rd of July, the very first, I think, session going into the festival. So a great way to open. You yourself, obviously a big whiskey enthusiast. I believe you got yourself booked into Belfast for the festival. Or you know, this year Paul has definitely worked in tirelessly to make the festival jeweled, so that is half of the tastings are in situ and half of the participants of the tasting are virtual. Are the tastings you're looking forward to, and are you going to be up in Belfast?
Yeah, I'm going to be up there, and actually the two other guys who are involved in the app with me will be up for the first couple of nights of the festival, and I'm going to hang out up there for about a week. One of the nice things, I suppose, in working in technology is the ability to work from anywhere. As long as I have a laptop and as long as I have internet, I can work from anywhere. So I figured I may as well, even if it's working from a hotel room, I may as well be up there for the week. So I'm really, really looking forward to it. I bought a black pass for the festival, so I got a random allocation of tastings. And what's for somebody who's very, very passionate about Irish whiskey, and I do have a decent understanding and collection of international whiskies as well, but most of the sessions I got on my black pass are international whiskies. So I have one of the I think it's the pre-1980s or pre-1970s Scotch. I have the World of Whiskey as well. So I'm actually really excited about those because I'm so interested in Irish whiskey, and with the app and that, I spend most of my time talking about or tasting or sampling or working with Irish whiskey brands. It's actually quite exciting to think I'll spend a bit of time with Belfast Whiskey Week looking at different international whiskies. So I'm really, really looking forward to it. And I hope while I'm up there as well, and the lads, we're hoping to get out and visit a couple of the distilleries as well. I know obviously Hinch is close enough, but being up in that part of the world versus Dublin does give us access to distilleries we wouldn't necessarily get to too easily from down here. So all in all, super, super excited about it. And it's the first time I'll have traveled anywhere, even if it is only a couple of 100 kilometers away. It's exciting to get out of Dublin.
Absolutely. If there was, I suppose, one thing that people should be checking out as they're going into the festival on the apps, is there anything special that's coming up, or a feature that you think that people can really utilize in the festival? The one you can point out before we bring the man of the hour into the show?
I think what we're going to try and do is get pre-bucketed collections in the app, so makes it super easy for people. If you're doing, let's say you're doing the McConnell's tasting, we'll have a collection there for that. If you're doing a Two Stacks tasting, we'll have a collection there for that, to try and make it really easy for people. So I'd look out for things like that, because the app will enhance the experience of the festival, and we're doing our best to make sure that everything is there and in place for day one.
And when you say collection, you mean what exactly?
So we have, the main interface in the app is that discover screen where you go in and we tell you what whiskies we're tasting this week or we're featuring and so on. But in there, we're going to have the ability to start adding, collections for particular tastings. So again, take the example of, say, the Two Stacks tastings. You'll be able to go in there on the discover screen, and we'll have all the bottles ready at the top of the screen. They're all there, so you don't need to go searching. You don't need to go adding them to lists or anything like that. We'll prepare it all.
Wonderful. Well, Connor, I really appreciate you joining us. I can't wait to see all of the different changes. It's going to be almost like the Euros tables. Group F is going to be flipping all the different brands. They're going to be moving up and down the rating charts. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm delighted that you were able to join us for the beginning as one of the partners of Belfast Whiskey Week. And it is probably about time we bring in the man, the founder himself. So, Mr. Winders, everyone go out, go download the Irish Whiskey app if you haven't. Go rate some Irish whiskeys. There's some criminally underrated Irish whiskeys in there getting 3.5, 4 stars that deserve 5 stars. If anyone goes onto Connor's Instagram page, you'll know I was appalled to see the Clonakilty Double Oaked getting 3.5 stars when it came on, and I instantly went on and gave it 5 stars because that whiskey is fantastic. But it was nice to know. I think it was actually only 2 ratings.
It's gone up to 4.7 since then. So
perfect. That's exactly where it deserved to be. And it was like 2. I didn't see how many ratings there were, and I was like, this is criminal. I have to go rate it right now. Since there have been like a critical mass of people, it's gone up to where it deserves, because that whiskey is sublime. Well, Connor, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. And we'll see. Well, I will see you virtually at the festival, and the people who go to Belfast Whiskey Week, we'll see you there.
Brilliant. Thanks very much, Matt.
Thank you, Connor. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Paul, how are you doing?
Oh my God, I'm fantastic. And Connor was absolutely brilliant. I'm so sorry for being late. Not that I was intentionally late.
You're fine. Technical difficulties have a way of doing this. If you think that's bad, I'm for some reason sepia toned, and I don't know how to fix this.
I thought you just got a tan.
I wish I had a tan. That would have been great. But actually, we have Robert dropping in from Germany, I love having Robert in. He always brings something great. He's just had a stream at McMurra, who you're doing some fantastic single casts with them in Belfast Whiskey Week. But before we get into that, I just thought that was really topical. What's going on? Belfast Whiskey Week, it's upon us. What do people need to know? What are the important parts? I already said McConnell's are first up. Sarah has to open the festival. No pressure to Sarah. Her first in-person tasting.
I know. And you know, it's hard to put someone first. I'm just looking at the screen and I'm thinking, is my face covered by my name?
A little bit. If you scooch back a little bit, you'd be fine.
I'm just trying to think, should I become a little bit more?
There you go. Yeah.
Should I become a little bit more here?
Yeah. You're fine, Paul. Wherever you like to be.
Do you know what? Does that I'm kind of looking down, but do you know what? At least we can see me.
Yeah.
It's a funny angle. My iPad seems to go on funny angle. And I'm just going to keep on knocking myself over. Where do we start, Matthew? It's just such a big thing at the moment. I'm talking about, like, actually, where do I start? Like, today I've just been non-stop. So today was just a proper hectic day. I literally have not just for 5 minutes just taken a breath. So this is my breathing space, talking to you. So thank you very much. Okay, day one festival. Very important. Day one, when we open the festival, yes, congratulations to McConnell's. They will do that. They've got an introduction set, 3 bottles. One, obviously, is their blend, which is what they're known for. But they've also got a 17-year-old single malt in that induction set. You know, they really want to showcase the spirits that they have. They've got a lot of spirits sitting, waiting to come out and represent the brand. And obviously their hopes at the moment are to create their own distillery. So they've got lots of product, lots of source product, and they're going to use that.
You know, I heard somewhere on the grapevine once that McConnell's may or may not be one of the largest private holders of sourced casks in the country as well. So I'm expecting
that's very I'd say that's very true. Yes,
but
that's very true.
I'm expecting some very interesting developments coming from that tasting, because that must be. I think that'll be a very interesting tasting. And obviously, Sarah, a seasoned veteran of the industry at this point, but first time in front of a live crowd. Can't wait.
I think she'll do perfectly fine. I think she'll be grand. I think she'll be okay. I'm going to just try and work out what's going on with my head. I'm wondering what is going on. So I don't want it. I was very uncomfortable there. Okay. Do you know what I could do? Can I get rid of my name?
Yeah.
I can.
Yeah. Hang on. Why don't look? How about you can rename yourself. There you go. Paul. Paul.
Little Paul. There you go. Super. Okay. So we've got rid of the name because it was just, too long. Paul's fine, and I can see my face, and I can sit a little bit more,
comfortably. Yeah.
Yeah. And I've got to always remember that my camera's over here, not over here, not in my head. It's over here. So, yeah, right, okay, I need to explain some things to people because, do you know what? If we're just starting this as a fresh, like we just talked about number one tasting at the festival, but let's just talk about what the festival encompasses at the moment. It encompasses 96 tastings, 95 of which I believe are for sale at the moment. However, I don't know how many of them have now sold out, so apologies for that. I don't even have that information because it's constantly changing. It was changing today at rapid speed at one point. And I don't know where that came from because I hadn't even spoken about the festival for a couple of days. But maybe there was a payday somewhere in one country and people just went, "Oh, I need to just buy things." But there's a lot of tastings. There's even now offspring tastings. There's tastings happening that are just off-springing. Do you like my hair? I think it's really part Mohican and part, I don't know what's going on, but it's doing something. Anyway, people are funny, Matt. People are funny. There's a lot happening. There's a lot of, as I say, tastings happening now outside of the events, which is really strange. Private tastings within the festival, which is lovely to see. Okay, and we're going to try and make some of them, open to the public also. I am about to tell you a massive secret, of course, always. There's always something to say. Right, so first of all, I want to say thank you to anyone who's bought a ticket so far, because here, fair play, on blind faith. This is pure blind faith at the moment. Not once have we mentioned exactly what's in any of those boxes. Fair play to y'all. Unreal. Do you know what? It just shows you the level of, I don't trust they may have. If I'm trustworthy, that's great. I feel great. But we are going to update. Every single one of those tastings has been updated today. So they were updated tonight and they'll go through for tomorrow. Everything will be updated, every single session that we have information for. So here, for all those distilleries that haven't told us what they're putting in it, that's your time. Your time is now. If you want people to know what's in them, let me know, because we will let everyone else know what's in the other tastings. And we can do that. But there's 3 types of tastings. I want people to understand what they are. Introductions. Introductory tastings are usually based around a brand wanting to introduce their product, probably in their core range. But people like, and there's Sarah, for example, saying McConnell's. It's not core range. They've got one product. So what do they do with the other 2? They have to be innovative. They have to be thinking about it. And here, to treat someone with a 17-year-old single, single malt, I think, I just think that's beautiful. And why not? For 15 sterling, so for 15 sterling, you get 3 50ml samples and a glass in the induction or introduction sets. That's across the board. So all those introduction sets. For example, St. Matthew at Boan, you have your introduction to your world-winning, global amazingness, best ever tasting single pot still. Yes, new make. So that's not your ordinary introduction, but we're getting 3. We're getting the pot still 3 ways, and we're getting a glass with it. This is something special. Yes. Okay.
And how much that be?
15 sterling, I think.
It is 15 sterling.
Yeah.
I checked.
I mean, we're trying to make this as accessible as possible. And what I don't get from people's commentary backwards is that, it's 15 quid. I mean, 15 quid to buy 3 samples of, or 3 shots of a 50ml liquid in a bar. I don't think you can get that anymore. I don't think that's possible. And to take away the glass with you, I don't think that's possible. So anyway,
and not only take away the glass, have it delivered to your door and then explain to you.
Delivered to your door, and then you have someone beautiful like yourself talking away about the product, or you get someone like Sarah who's going to talk about the product, or you get one of these great ambassadors, Mark Westmoreland from from Wolfburn, or you've got Mickey Plummer from Macmira. These boys are going to be talking to you. They're going to be wanting to engage with you and talk to you about your product. So I think it's really good. I think it's great value. Second tier is this kind of idea of a showcase event, and showcases are going to be 6 50ml samplings from a distillery, or in some cases some of the indie tastings. And listen, they are, I think they're reasonably priced. I think they're sometimes, I think one might be 25 quid, but most of them are about £35. And if not £35, they just creep up a little bit. And they creep up based on maybe there's some add-ons, there's some extras with that tasting. But I would suggest that most of the showcases are relevant to what's in the box. And, again, on blind faith, maybe a lot of people haven't thought about that. But some great core range products going into some of these boxes. So, and I'll give a shout out to Walsh. So Walsh have their Writer's Tears and their Irishman. 3 of each in the box, 6 liquids, 50 mils, 35 sterling. Boom. I mean, really good whiskey for really nada, nothing. So look, I think the ticket sales have gone rightly. We've sold out of about 2/3 of the actual ticket sales, and that's creeping up constantly. So they're doing really well, and I don't know how many shows have sold out. I think the kind of high end ones, those master classes we're about to talk about, are completely selling out. I mean, they're gone. But they were designed and are designed to give the enthusiast the option to try something very unique, very, very different. And the pre-1980s Scotch, for example's sake, I don't know. We've got two sets, but I know the guys running that. I know the guys that are going to be hosting those events are going to have a head. They're having a head melt just now as to what to put into that. So, like, there's so much choice out there of those kind of really early single malts, cask strength single malts, single caskings. Lots of mothball distilleries, lots of bygone era whiskey that people can drink that we're going to be choosing from, and it's a lovely thing because we're used to the Springbanks and we're used to the Highland Parks, we're used to the Macallans, we're used to all that because it's mainstream, in your face. We've got the Glenrothases, we've got the Glenlivets. This is all mainstream. There's a lot of distilleries out there that have not managed to survive, or indeed had the I suppose the marketing behind them either. And we're gonna venture into that space. We're gonna go and taste that stuff. We're gonna taste stuff that we just don't normally taste. And it's the same with the pre-1970s Irish. Listen, I'm sitting here just now looking at those. I was literally about an hour ago putting together the sets, and I need to send it off to Finan. So Finan O'Connor will be delivering those tastings. And, I'm kind of looking at them going, what? I've got a choice. There's a choice of whiskey there. There's old Napogue, it's a 1951 Napogue, if I want to put that in there. There's a very early green spot to put in there. Sorry?
Swooned both of those.
Yeah, but here, look, Jameson 15, from the 50s, isn't it? I think, and then we've got, is it 50? At least 60s, and the 7-year, as well from that period. And then you've got Bushmills, 1970s. You've got, there's just the Tullamore, 1970s. You've got all these wonderful whiskies that people want to, and should be wanting to try. I've got Dunvilles there, the Dunvilles, so it's 1930s, give or take, 40s, whatever. It's really, do you know what? I just, one of the things I get about this is that, people should taste these. Whether or not you think you should, or you're not sure, you should taste these, because the chances you taste them ever again, pretty damn slim. Pretty damn slim. I know a lot of people who just collect whiskey for the fun of it, and lots of other reasons, but how many folk just crack a bottle open and say, look, we need to drink this, let's taste it. Here, if it's vile, do you know what? I don't know because I didn't make it, but if it's vile, fair enough. That way we can say we've progressed as an industry. Irish whiskey's progressed. Or have we gone backwards? Have we not produced, better than what we were producing? And it's a lovely kind of point for us to look at along the way and say, well, how far have we come? So those kind of high-end tastings are doing really well. Some of them might be pricey. Of course they are. They're going to be pricey, but I tell you something, they're at cost price. So they are not put into the realms of, secondary pricing, because if we were, we'd be talking about 175 sterling just for a shot in Napogue 1951. That's in a bar in Belfast, and it's only 35 mils. So, I'm like, can we deliver a festival that is, is affordable to people in this economic climate? And I think we have done. I think we're fronting that on many, many fronts. We're giving people the option to pick up whiskies at various locations. That'll stop the delivery charges. If people have paid delivery charges already and they want those, to click and collect, then we'll give it back to them. We're happy to refund, delivery charges. because it's only going to the courier company, so it goes back to you. And we're bringing out sets, particularly a lot of those indie sets. We're bringing a lot of those sets at the cost price. So if we're doing the Bushmills, we are the first public organisation to go out and open the English or the UK version of the Causeway Coast, the Causeway Collection Bushmills bottle. That, to me, is pretty impressive. But we've kept it at cost price. We've not gone way over here. No, I mean, in crazy world, because I don't know how much that is going for now, but I'm sure it's like 1,200 quid a bottle, give or take. You said about having a wee drink tonight. I do have this. I know he's away off screen, so he doesn't need to see what I'm drinking, but I have this available to me.
So you got one of the 45 bottles, did you?
Yeah. So if you look at how crap the labeling is on it, there's no shine or anything. It's like a bit of paper. Look at that. Nothing.
Fucking adore that bottle. So tell us. Hi. Sorry, she's having an absolute mare over here, sniffing and barking and grabbing everything.
Okay.
Tell us, Paul. That bottle. Can you show it to us on the camera one more time?
Of course.
That bottle for me is spectacular. Working from the old branding of Old Cumber. The bottle is old school. The color of the bottle is old school. The label is so well designed, but also like it looks like new old stock. It looks like they went into an old shop front and found labels from the 50s, but beautifully designed for today. I am so impressed by that Old Cumber.
It's that, it's not an age statement, but really it's 5 years old, right? And look, I mean, the color of that's beautiful, isn't it? And it's all produced at Ecklandville. There's no mucking about here. This is Ecklandville Spirit. Well, it's a separate mash bill, but it's it's made there. So, and it smells great. It has a great smell. And I hope people don't expect Redbreast, because you're in the wrong place. We're not trying to emulate. This is not an emulate. We're not emulating Potstilled from IDL. That's not emulating the same thing. Completely different.
And that is actually a big point as well. I love that you brought that up. For people that do try new distilleries, Potstills, that Redbreast is its own beast. That Potstill has a huge range of flavors, and to benchmark it off what is the industry gold of 50/50 is perhaps not the best way to go, because every different Potstill is going to have its own flavors, but also the age is going to be drastically different as well.
Yes.
But
and do you know what? Do you know what? The guys at Ecklandville are very frightful, I think, sometimes. When you speak to Jarlath, you'd be concerned that every 5 minutes he's cautiously thinking about, are people enjoying my spirit? Do people like my whiskies? Do they love Dunvilles? Do they actually love Dunvilles? Do they love what we're doing? And he's right to question everything they do there. He's right to question it. You wouldn't be doing his job right if he wasn't questioning everything. But you know what he needs to do? Just relax for 5 minutes. First of all, the Dunvilles range is unreal, unbelievable, and that's all their single casking stuff. It's the 3 Crowns, it's the 3 Crowns peated, it's the 1808, all that stuff, super. And people are now waiting for their own liquid to come, taking on the Old Cumber and reimagining this idea of the single pot still from County Down. I think is very important. And you know what? They've not disappointed, and I think they're worried that it's disappointing. I'm like, well, do you know what? If you came on here thinking this was a 12-year-old Redbreast, well, you're 100% you're going to be disappointed, because 12-year-old Redbreast is in a class of its own. It is phenomenal. Everyone knows that.
People know it, yeah.
Yes. This, not that. Totally different. And yet it has its own story, has its own journey, and we're going to witness a journey of a pot still emerging from County Down. We're going to witness this. This is at the very start of the process. One thing I tried to explain to the guys in Ecklandville, I really want them just to be patient themselves and don't worry about don't worry about us. Do not worry about the drinker, because if we're going to get this right, Ideal. Redbreast. So we're going to do a Redbreast history of Redbreast in the festival. We're going to look at the Redbreast from the earliest point that we have it, so I think it's 60s. So we'll go 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, all the way through. We'll just look at different expressions of the Redbreast all the way through, and we'll see how it's evolved. Yes?
Yeah.
But it's had that length of time to evolve, Matthew. No one has said, no, stop. It's not good enough. It's crap. Put it in the bin. Nah, it's continuously grown and evolved and become either better for a lot of people. Maybe it sometimes missed the mark on certain occasions, but it's refining and defining itself constantly. These guys, this is 5 years old, give or take. Relax. It ain't going to be perfection, but I tell you what it is. It's the start of something new. And if you came back to me in 30 years' time and you said, Paul, listen, we've not got any better than this, I'd be freaking worried. Do you know what I mean? If we had the same liquid in 30 years, I'd be really, really disappointed, because this is the start of a journey for this spirit. So, and it would be the same, Matthew, if we talk about your world-winning, super single pot still new make. Again, if we witness this as a journey and witness it going through, if you're given the same length of time as some of these bigger brands have had, because they've had the length of it and no one's challenged them, they've allowed to develop, and people have bought into it and continuously purchased all of these products. If you're given the same length of time and the same confidence building by the consumer, it will get better and will become better and will be sought after, and people will respect it a lot more. So hopefully the guys down there know that this is good. I don't find fault with it. There's a slight, I suppose there's a slight error when it comes to the finish. Maybe it could slightly round itself off, become a little bit fuller. It's not that. It's a little bit weaker than I wanted it to be. But that's just something I think will come in time. I don't think it's something that, I'm not disappointed in the respect that, it's something I wasn't expecting.
So the one thing I want to say is Robert's jumped into the comment section. He says, my cologne looks unopened. I say not, Robert. My clones are all opened.
Mine's is empty.
Well, my rum and my Gloria are empty. My clone 10-year-olds all have some left in them. Just because I particularly that tequila, I love sharing it.
Tequila's good, eh?
I've made an insane amount of daiquiris with the clone rum and then ran out of the rum promptly, and I'm now very sad that I have no more clone rum. But Paul, the festival itself is going to have bottlings for the festival.
Mm-hmm.
And I know we've just done a huge amount about Actonville. You touched on Dunville's. We've touched on McMurra. What are we to expect if you are a punter of the festival? What are we to expect in terms of bottlings to the festival? But also, what ticket do you need to have be able to have access to these bottlings?
Okay, so actually, look, any ticket, because I think what we're not. Do you know what? We're not precious. We're not precious people, right? And what we said at the very start was, look, we want everyone, so anyone and everyone, just to sign up to the festival, just be part of the festival. See, if you don't want to drink, don't drink. Don't come and get involved with the alcohol. Sit at home. At least tune in. At least come for the information. At least get involved with that part of it. Get part of, 95 tastings, Q&A sessions which haven't been announced yet, debates that haven't been announced yet, put into the timetable. And then you've got all of the, okay, there's some other things. But then there's the music and there's the comedy and stuff. There's a lot to the festival that and here, if you want to use it like Robert, I know he's still in the chat, is he? But Robert's going to use it like a blind date session. He wants to just go on and, meet people. Come and meet people. It's a community. Come and join the crack. That's what it's about. So, to do that, it's £6 sterling. £6 sterling gives you access to all of that. Then, and rightly said, Matthew, you have access if you want. You can purchase these bottles, and I think what's nice is that they're all slightly different quantities, but there is I suppose there's a single malt speed in there. Exactly. There's a balance to the festival bottlings. So we've got 2 500ml bottles and 2 700ml bottles, and that's lovely. So the Macmira comes in at a 10-year-old single malt, and there's about, for sale retail, about 140. They're being sold through Anzac Wines, and well, yeah, exactly. Thank you, Di. Thank you. And good on you having a wee swallow. But the Macmira 10-year-old single malt, 140-ish bottles. The Whistler, 700 mils. Yeah. Cask strength, a blend of malts. I have the information in front of me. It's pretty cool. Like, I'm allowed to show that somehow. Yes, there you go. Okay. What did we say? It was 100 and something of these.
172.
172. Now, yeah, about 106, but probably 160 for retail, give or take. So that's pretty impressive. And then we go to Cologne, and we jump up to approximately 200 and something bottles. Again, only 500 mils. Single cask offering, single malt plus 10 years old. And then we go up to Ecklenville, and they give us a Dunville's cask strength PX 12-year-old, last cask strength PX 12, that the whatever will be somewhere circa 300 bottles. So there's plenty of festival bottles available to people. If you want the set, that's going to be difficult because they're all being sold individually, unless you purchased unless you had purchased previously the purple pass. And well done to anyone who was smart and went, "We're going to take the purple pass. We'll go with that, and we'll make sure and we'll 100% make sure we have them." We are going to bring out a separate pass that allows that to happen. So we're going to work on a separate event that allow people to do that. We're just going to work out how that is done, and we'll make sure that we set aside some bottles. But yeah, you know what? Just we obviously want people to take part in the festival. The festival bottles, I think, are important. They kind of shape the kind of steading, the standing of the festival, because having festival bottles is pretty cool. Do you know what I mean? It shows that the distilleries who are doing it take it seriously. It also shows from an enthusiast point of view that it's something, really hardcore to remember. The festival buy. Either, they buy one and they keep it forever, or they buy, maybe they buy two, drink one, keep it forever. For those that really want to come and taste it, we're going to be tasting the bottles, so we'll do that. We'll have tastings available. I think you can go on and do it. But I think that's something that we did. It's certainly something we did last year. I tried to put as much of last year's bottle into packs. In fact, I put a hell of a lot out. I think I put out about, there must have been about 200 samples last year of our festival bottle went out, which dramatically reduced the amount of festival bottles that went on sale. It was circa 70, give or take. But here, still we had bottles, 70 bottles. And we've now increased that, dramatically. But I think there's a demand for it. There's a demand for people who want to have it. I hate the idea of the festival bottling changing hands at secondary prices. Absolutely hate it, right? But John, I thought was really interesting the price it went. So that Cologne last year is now, and according to all the valuation sites, so I'm not making this up, is constantly above 250, 300 at times, So it's is it the same as the festival bottlings in Scotland? No, they still fetch way more. But that's not the point. It's there has been a love for this. I think Cologne having a steady, release, so it's going to last year, this year, and hopefully going forward. I just think that's beautiful. I think it's lovely to see. I'm glad that we have yourselves at Boan in there from the south, that we've got two from the north, and having Macmira from Europe is absolutely great. No Scottish distillery, but the link, I think, to Scotland comes through your bottle, which is beautiful. And we've got that lovely tie-in. Great to see the saltire splash across the front of it. You know, probably, can I say this? Would it be the last time the saltire has gone across a bottle of Blanc? Probably, I presume.
It's the first and only time that the saltire is going to be on.
Yeah, so it's there's a lot of unique things. There's a hell of a lot of unique things about the bottle coming from Blanc. It's got your name on it. It's got your name on it.
It might have my name on it.
If they sacked you in the morning, this is the last thing that people will know you by. I mean, it's got his name on it. It's not even got my name. Not that I care for my name on anything, right? But it's pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool. I'm looking forward to this. You know, peated quarter casks.
From an undisclosed Scottish distillery that also releases with peated quarter casks. Who knew?
Where frogs come about.
That is true. Where frogs come about. Robert wants to know: is this the largest whiskey festival on the planet? Because
do you know what?
I can't think of a bigger whiskey festival, and I'm convinced.
You know, Matthew, there's not a bigger festival. So we're going to keep on saying this. There's not a bigger festival. There cannot be a bigger festival.
In terms of what? Content hours, whiskey.
Think of a festival. Think of a festival. Do you know what I mean? What when you hear the word, ignore whiskey for a minute. What is a festival to you, Matthew?
A gathering, a party.
Gathering, party. There's music, there's food, there's crack. Do you know what I mean? It's getting to know lots of people who you didn't know before. That's a festival. It's, you know, you bring together people from everywhere, like different tastes, different, you know. So on that note, it's a festival. 100% is a festival. It is not an exhibition. So I believe that this is the largest whiskey festival in the world this year. I'm not. I want to be challenged on. I want someone to say, "No, you're talking shite, Paul. Stop talking shite," because actually, there are probably very large exhibitions. There'll be Whiskey Show London, and fair play to those guys. They'll put a hell of a lot of work in, and they're emulating their physical show virtually. And it's a show. Fair play to you. It's not a festival. It's not funky. It's not fun. It's not led by the community. It's not got this appetite of having so many hours of content. If they match that hours of content, fair play to them. I think they were trying to do that, but I don't think they can. So, you know, fair play. And then you've got, I suppose you're going to have a lot of these trade shows that are taking place now. They're starting to roll out across Europe, you know, physical shows. And that's great. But I think, you know, we are. I don't care. You know, will we have used these? Do you want to know some facts? I'll give you these facts right now.
Hit me with the facts, Paul.
Man, this is serious. I mean, and fair play, if Niall's listening, Niall, you're doing me a world of good right now.
He compiled the facts, did he?
Niall's good at doing things like that. He's very much at the moment the front of our IT. You know, he is fronting a lot of it. Right, so let's have a look here. He is on the ball. Niall said to me this morning, this is what he said. Niall says, listen, we're going to use 3,500 boxes. We're going to use, for this festival, that's 3,500 boxes. And I went, that's by pure chance, that's really lucky now, because I ordered 3,500 boxes. I said, if we keep pressing with more tastings, we ain't got enough boxes. I actually have to go into last year's boxes, because I had some from last year potentially to use. So that's fact number one, 3,500 boxes. That's a lot of boxes. Fact number two, 17,500 bottles. 17,500 miniature bottles. That's a lot of bottles.
That's a huge amount of bottles.
And glasses. Actual glasses. Now, they might not all be Whiskey Week glasses, because there's glasses being put in by certain distilleries, and fair play to them. So if you get a McConnell's set, an introduction set, you'll get a McConnell's glass. If you get a Sleeve League, distillers in here, fair play to those guys. Not I mean the Silkies. Jesus, who wouldn't want a wee set of Silkies? For 15 sterling. So we're going to use 2,000 tooth glasses. So 2,000 tooths. I think that's pretty impressive. There's a lot going on there. I just think it's a mass amount. Yes, you're more than welcome to come and help, Gareth. And here, I'm up for that. But they're just on that alone. That they're big figures.
Yeah.
You know what? It's not been done so far. So if someone emulates it post the festival, fair play. But it's not been done so far. Not been done this year. Well done, anyone who manages to do it. And here, by the way, it's just me doing it. No one else. Just let everyone know it's just me boxing all those boxes, and it's just me pouring all those bottles. Nobody else. Nobody.
Mate.
Listen, we've got a couple of absolutely fantastic people who are spending a lot of time in the festival.
Let me ask you this question: for the festival's gone live, people are blind faith buying
right
tastings because they haven't seen what's going. Yeah, exactly.
Right now,
they will see what's coming up. What in your mind right now is underselling that you think will be key? Like just one tasting, just one event that you've been looking, you're seeing all the huge sellout events, the 70s Irish tasting, the 80s Scotch tasting, they're sold out. But what tasting have you seen in the corner of your eye hasn't picked up yet because people don't know. People don't know yet what's in it. But maybe one tasting you're like, I know, instantly that's going to go.
Yeah, do you know what? There's a handful of tastings which I know if you were to explain what's in them, then if you had that concentrated conversation with them to say, listen, do you understand what you're going to actually get if you purchase this? Yeah, okay, so what is there? Let me think. What have I seen? Oh, do you know what? We're giving some shout outs to some brands this evening we haven't really talked about. But we've got Gelson's, which is Irish whiskey. Yes. Now that's okay. And that'll do all right. But that's a lovely wee showcase of the Gelson range. But if you look at their sister box, they have a sister box within the festival called the Hillwood World of Whiskey. And actually, and that is interesting because a lot of people will not know what to expect in that. But Hillwood's a massive, massive, massive organisation with global reach at the moment. So in that tasting alone, we have a bourbon, we have a Scotch single malt, a Scotch blend, an English whiskey, a Welsh whiskey, and and I think one of the Irish is in there as well. Really interesting because it's the Aberfalls inaugural release, which I don't know if anyone's witnessing this on secondary markets, but they're close to £300 sterling right now for that bottle. We're going to auction off one of those bottles along with some other bottles. So we will auction off. I should have said that. We're going to auction off a set of the festival bottles. We're going to auction off a donated bottle of the 27-year-old Redbreast Dream Cask. We're going to auction off lots of wee bottles that have been donated for charity. So chosen charity for this year for the festival is with Macmillan. So Macmillan is our festival partner charity. Everything we do, everything that we're raising money for throughout the festival, money will go towards that charity. But that pack, to me, it's 35 sterling, right? And you're going to get the chance to taste the first ever whiskey coming out of Wales post, Penderyn. Why not? Why wouldn't you? You're going to get the taste of Crabbies, and again, Hillwood now have access to these English distilleries that they own, Scottish distilleries, Welsh distillery, and stuff out in America. So that's an interesting one. I just think that I don't even know. I couldn't tell you what's been sold of it, but I presume that people won't know what's there. For one, for yourselves, I hope people don't think that last year's is the same stuff. So again, it was interesting to have that conversation with you the other day, that we've got 9 products in the box. 4 are core range product. 5, no one's tasted. Boom. That to me sells it straight away. I'm going to taste 5 products that I've not had before from Boan. Why would I not want 9 bottles of Boan? It's a no-brainer. And again, looking at even something like McConnell's, although I think McConnell's are doing rightly, but looking at something like that where we have 3 products and we've not seen them, 2 of them, why would you not take the option to try and taste them? So when you do find out what's in the box, you'll be pleasantly surprised. Looking at other ones, you've got, I know nothing about the guys from Wayward Spirits, Liberator. I really know nothing about those guys, but I do know that they're putting in product in there that no one's tasted. So again, lovely reintroduction to the branding. Same with the flying tumbler. 2 of the products, no one's seen before. So although it's an introduction to these brands, I think that all the Aussie ones are sold out. I don't know, but I tell you something. Having looked at the bottles today of what's in those tastings, you would be mental not to try them, particularly at the cost. I mean, do you know it cost us more to bring that liquid here? It costs us more to bring the liquid to this country. That's all I'm saying.
What then the bottle?
Than the tasting set.
Oh, okay.
Do you know what I mean? So listen, you guys have got a great opportunity there to try something different. Oh my God, there's a wee masterclass there from Bush Mills. I would be all over that cask strength Bush Mills for cheapness. What else have we got? Do you know what? There's a lot of just really random brands. Like we've got so many brands involved.
Tell me about this. What Connor Winters was on a little bit earlier on before you, and he was telling me he bought the Black Pass. And he's saying he's really excited because he had lots of tastings he wanted to be involved in, and his Black Pass basically gave him none of the tastings that he initially thought he wanted to be involved in. And he's really excited about that because he's kind of like me. I will go to a cocktail bar and I'll sit down, and if I'm in a cocktail bar, I have 3 cocktails I will always order. So I look at the cocktail bartender, and it's kind of an annoying request, but I'll say to the cocktail bartender, whatever your favorite cocktail is, I want. Because if you let me pick, I've got 3 cocktails. I know I like them. I'll pick one of the 3 depending on what my choice is. You pick. I don't care. I'll pay for it. I'll enjoy it. But he's a little the same, I think, in that Black Pass, that he knew exactly what he liked, and he's being given different options with this Black Pass. And I want to learn more about this Black Pass. Tell me, is it a random selection, or does everyone in the Black Pass get the same, or what is
Matthew? Yeah, so basically what happened was you have different color passes. White pass is a £6 ticket, and that gives you access to the festival. Then it went tiered. It went green pass. Green pass got you 1 randomized tasting. That was an introduction tasting. Blue pass got you 4 randomized introduction tastings. The red pass got you a mixture of introduction and showcase tastings. You then went up to the Black Pass, which gave you introduction, showcases, and also masterclasses randomized. So we randomized them out. So if you'd purchased into that, the value of that Black Pass when it was first released was maybe a third of the cost of what is in your pass, because the chances are you got some of those masterclasses which would have taken the cost of the masterclasses would have taken the cost of the pass out. And then you're getting all the cool things. You were getting like your T-shirt, you were getting a pack of cards, you were getting a special glass, which isn't for everyone. You were getting, your bonus box. You were getting lots of things to accumulate together. You're getting 2 books where you're getting, there's lots of things happening there. And I think that a lot of people took the option, and again, that was blind, but taking the option back here, if you didn't buy the pass, you missed out big time. And those passes are now, we had to stop selling the passes. So all passes are sold out as is. There was another couple of passes. You could have got a bronze pass or a gold pass. Bronze pass would have probably given you just about everything you needed to taste in the festival. And the gold pass would have given you everything in the festival. Like absolutely everything. There's nothing that would have been missed out in that pass. Like you would have got to taste everything. And I think a lot of people might not have understood how serious that was, because at that point, we were talking, I think it was 4,000 sterling. To actually drink your way through this festival, to actually drink your way through the festival and take every measure in the festival. So it's 95 tastings. At 95 tastings, even if there were, majority of them are 6 measures in the most. So what's that? 6 times 95. My maths isn't super. But we'll just go something simple. We'll just call it 600 negative, maybe 50. Right? So 550 measures. 550 measures. That's well over a year's worth of drinking. That's plenty. It's a library of whiskey. It's your opportunity to savagely go through so much of it, and some and more. And this year, no one took up the option of doing the whole thing. However, someone did get involved with the bronze one, which gave them just about everything. Just about everything. Just about. And here, fair play to John, if I like to say that. His name's John. Anyway, don't know what John it was, but it was John. And here, fair play, because you know what? Like, to me, that was important, that you got to. This is a one-off opportunity. We gave away last year. We actually gave away every whiskey in the tasting last year. We were going to do it as a prize this year. We thought about it long and hard. Do we do the same thing this year? And you know what? We just thought, nah. But one person did it last time. And everyone who got a pass, I don't think anyone's totally disappointed. I know that one person got annoyed because he got Scotch. And I'm like, do you know what? That was a randomization. I couldn't that's just random. And I think actually they worked it out. Him and a friend swapped the boxes. Fair play. We're not going to swap boxes at our end because that's going to take up all of our time. But they can do it. I suppose they can swap at the festival. They can swap passes between each other. Go ahead. But you know what? The passes were a really nice idea, like a really smart idea, to give people the option to get involved, get a lovely box that will come out to them with lots. So the bonus box is 27 samples alone. It was a smart option, and you could have bought that. We ended up, we put it out as a separate event as well. But yeah, I think it was a smart thing to do. I'm so sorry now that we can't do any more of them. I really am sorry, because actually it's a cool thing. And do you know what? Next year, there's something which it kind of leads on to that. The kind of pass idea leads on next year into our events for next year.
Well, Paul, I think anyone who hasn't got their black pass will be rightly jealous. £4,000 might be a little bit too rich for some people's blood, but
the gold pass, the gold pass was. Gold pass was big, but the black pass, I think someone will have to correct me, but I think it was like 300 quid. And I think much is a Dreamcast tasting, 250.
Yeah.
So if you got that and you got, I don't know, even a McConnell's tasting, all of a sudden it's, you're sitting with all these whiskies for free. And it really was just because, you know what, we just wanted to thank anyone who had followed us from last year, anyone who really came on the journey of the festival. And that's taken the people who came from, last year festival, came through the Christmas events, came through the Paddy's Week events, who really supported what we were doing, because, it's not an easy thing. There's a lot of things that could have just said, let's just bin this, let's just not do it, let's just not bother our backsides. But you know what? I felt that it was a very important, it's been very important for a lot of people. I'm going to say this, and I hope that people get this message. See those people who are not the most sociable. See those that do not. Aye, all right, John, you're cute. See those that don't. See, he's telling everyone who it is. See those people who maybe can't leave the house, who don't communicate really well in social settings. They don't maybe, maybe their network of friends is very small. Do you know what I found? There's a hell of a lot of people who've communicated through this festival who just wouldn't normally, get involved. And I think that we've opened up doors to a hell of a lot of people. The fact that we've gone global, and that was really thanks to last year going online. Like, we are connecting with people around the world. I had a beautiful text message, and hopefully I get to speak to them very soon regarding, having another drop-off point in the States. And that's really important, that we are connecting to people all around the world. This is a chance for anyone who's a fan of Irish whiskey. But I mean, we've got plenty of Scotch, and we've got plenty of worldwide whiskies involved here as well. It's really, in fact, you know what? Bringing on some really nice partners, onto the festival. There's just so many of them. Like, to list, I think we're now at 70 different brands. I mean, to list them all is just huge. I mean, really. I mean, I would love to go through. If you give me time, Matthew, I'd list them all because I want.
That's a different show, Paul. It's a different show.
I know, but I think they all deserve.
We have to give you a show on your own for that.
I know. Well, sure. That's the sláinte. That's what the sláinte is about. Do you know what I mean? I might even go on the sláinte after this just to list them all because I'm in that kind of mood tonight. That really, why not? Why don't we just keep talking about them all? Because there are so many. But no, I mean, the festival.
Paul, can I ask you one question? How much do you think the Black Pass cost people when it was available?
Was it 300 quid?
So I see Mark Stevenson in the comments here says that he worked out with the tastings he got with his Black Pass. If he bought them individually, would have cost him £675.
There you go. Cheers. No bar. And here, that's just taking the blind faith trust element, taking the risk, but and that's what it is. And some people, I don't think anyone could have lost on any of those passes. You just couldn't. Fact, you just can't. You know what I mean? You just can't lose. I'm kind of disappointed in some respect because a lot of people might not get the T-shirts. They might not they won't buy them separately. But the T-shirts are pretty cool. The T-shirts are something. Do you know when you go to a festival, Matthew, a music festival in particular, and you go and you maybe pick up the T-shirt, and it's got on the back, it's got all the name of the bands and on the different stages and stuff. Like we have, well, we hope, although some people might have been a wee bit late giving us their logos. But we hope to have as many of the brands on the back of that T-shirt as possible. And it looks pretty cool. Like, we're using the colours of the festival, which are these blacks, magentas, creams, and it looks lovely. It really does. It's come together really nicely. And we're working with a company up in Derry to help that happen. All of the companies we're working with are local companies. We're trying to work with everyone locally. So when we've paired up and we've got the tastings with the food, Chocolate Manor up in the coast. Really looking forward to that. Really looking forward to chocolate and whiskey. Looking forward to it. Do you know what I mean? Anyone who knows me is I'm all over chocolates and whiskey. Anything with whiskey. But we've got chocolate and whiskey, and we've got cheese and whiskey, and we've got donuts and whiskey. So guilt trip donuts. Boom. Mind-blowing stuff here. Donuts and whiskey. Do not miss out on something like that. Ribs. Now, ribs and chicken and burgers with bourbons and whiskey is very important also. And fair play to the Garrick Bar. So anyone who knows Belfast knows that the Garrick do great food, but they have a great selection of whiskey. And, they're one of our partner venues. Proper excited to work with them. Madden's, we're working with them also. Again, another partner venue. Great to see Bittles. I don't know if anyone, now Bittles at the moment aren't a partner venue within the festival, but here, fair play to Bittles. Fair play to John. The first person I've seen with this year's whiskey glass. Do you know what I've given out? I swear to God, I don't even have one myself, right? We gave out a couple to journalists. There was a handful of journalists came to a press launch that I did. They were specifically invited and they were allowed to come because they've followed all the measures and everything else. And they turned up. And the next day, or the day after, there was a picture on Bittles' Instagram page with the box and a glass. Now, there was only 3 boxes and there was only a couple of glasses, and he had both. And I was like, how the hell did you get that? And it was a picture of a priest. This is really weird, but it was a picture of a priest with a glass in the box. I was like, this is really turning out to be really strange because like I don't even have that. No one has that, you know. So here, it's happening. It's big. Fair play to John Bittles, thank you very much. And Bittles Bar's class. If you ever come to Belfast, go and visit. But
Paul,
it's just so big now. I mean, look, I'm on the biscuit. Sorry.
Yeah, and the biscottis. I know. Look, we're running out of time. For those across the world, I know Arena flying the flag for you in the north of the United States. Are people in the US able to be involved?
Yeah, look, 100%. 100%. Look, if you've got any questions as well, do not be frightened to message me, phone me. You know, there's a lot of people have my phone number. The number's on the website. Give me a call. It doesn't bother me. I'd rather speak to you than type backwards because it's actually doing my head in. But text messages and emails, there's lots of lovely people. So listen to these email addresses. If you want to message Grace at belfastwhiskeyweek.com, if you want to message, who else? If you've got questions about the programme, I don't know, Stuart at belfastwhiskeyweek.com. If you get any issues about, I don't know, branding or brands that want to be involved, it's Grania at belfastwhiskeyweek.com. If you have any issues about your packages not looking absolutely fantastic, but you want your own packages and you want someone to design them for you, then it's Johnny at belfastwhiskeyweek.com. Look, there's loads of people in the background doing loads of cool things, and fair play to them. We will answer all questions. But yes, there shouldn't be a place in the world where you can't be involved in this festival. If you're talking about specifically getting product to you, again, we're looking at all those kind of barriers. Well done to Irish Whiskey Auctions partner distribution for this. In the north, it's with Anzac Wines. Fair play, thank you very much. But there's lots of opportunity to get involved and get the product to you lots of different ways. So look, if you have any questions, ask us. Do not be frightened. I do know there's going to be a drop-off point. Yeah, various drop-off points in the States, and it's it's whether or not we can tie people up to those various drop-off points. But don't be frightened. There's stuff going out to the States as a constant until bless me, it's a wee bit.
Okay, I have one last question before we let you go and you finish your biscotti. You're fine. Don't worry about it. One question here from Michael Douglas saying he has Black Pass and he bought a Boan tasting pack that's in the Duke of York on the Saturday. And he's wondering if he goes in person and brings a friend and they just split the samples. Are you going to allow them in or are you going to kick them out at that point? And I imagine I know somewhat the answer, but I want to make sure with COVID answers that we're okay with that as well.
Yeah, so look, COVID is still a pain in the hole, and it has to be, it has to be respected. Fair play. Let's respect this virus, okay? Let's take it seriously. So at the moment, every venue that we are in will have its own limitations, okay? So you will get an email from probably Grace. So Grace will probably email you, and when she emails you, I mean, Grace is just me, by the way. It's just I'm just using a different name. No, Grace is someone completely different. But yeah, she will email you and she will let you know what pass. Again, you should have already got that information from your passes, but she will also write to you if you bought separate products, so separate boxes, and she will say, listen, in each one of these venues, we're allowed participants. It will be based on a kind of first come, first serve reply system. So we're going to expect people to reply to us to say they want to come. You cannot just turn up. That's just not cool. That will not happen. You will be turned away. If you contact us and want to come to the venue, then we'll take a list of people who are going to come. You will then be sent a questionnaire. You will have to answer those questions. You will also have to do the following, and it is a pain in the hole, but it will work. Take a test. So you will have the chance to take same-day tests. If you have not got one and you have not organised one for your local health care, then we will provide one. If you turn up to the venue half an hour before, we will give you one. But really, you should be taking it yourself. So we have small tests that you can take, okay? But you should do it yourself, and you should tell us the result and show us the result. So we're going to want to see that. If you have been vaccinated, again, let us know that you've been vaccinated. It's good to know that information. You're going to have to let us know that you're in that venue and where you've been. So if you've been traveling and you have not quarantined, then you won't be allowed to attend. You have to have quarantine beforehand unless you've been approved not to quarantine. So I think there's a lot of these countries now are coming into the green list. Green zones are good. So well done for all the green zone guys. We've got guys coming from different parts of Europe who are already okay. They don't need to quarantine anymore. You know, they're being vaccinated as well. So guys coming in from the States, vaccinated. If you're vaccinated from America, you don't need to quarantine, I believe. So there's lots of different rules, but we're going to follow all of them. We will communicate that with you for every venue. At the moment, all venues are accepting participants. At the moment, all venues accepting participants, bar one venue. And if we can get our heads around that other venue and open that up, then every tasting session is allowed to have people there. And that's something we want to happen. We want people to come together safely. Let's do it safely. Let's not muck about. You'll be asked to wear a mask. The only time you'll not be asked to wear a mask is when you're partaking in the actual tasting itself. All other points will ask you to wear a mask. And I think that's just, you know, again, it's just a precautionary measure. It's just something we want to happen. And do you know what?
Very reasonable.
I think it is reasonable. I just think it's reasonable. I don't think we're asking for very much. And do you know what? The thing about this festival, Matthew, is that it can be done in the comfort of your own home. You can do it at home. You can do what some other people are doing, by the way, in different parts of the world. And again, communicate to local people. You might be doing this in a bar with in another country with lots of other people. So fair play to those guys who are doing that. You know, there's groups of people coming together and are going to do tastings together. I think that's great, having little hubs. Super. So, you know, keep that in mind. Keep in the mind that you can do things like that. But it's accessible. It's, you know, something you could do at home. It's something you could dip into at the time or leave it. You know, go back to it within the space of, 6 months. That information is going to be there. We've got major tastings at this event, like major tastings. You're going to have tastings that you'll never see again. These tastings will not happen again. Let's talk about things that you'll not do again. Vintage mash bills. When those tickets come online, and they'll be coming online very soon, and you will not want to miss out. 350 tickets to the public. 350 tickets to the public that you can actually involve yourself in the vintage mash bills tasting. One off. 10 different samples. Gone. Never. That will not be done again. Not at that level. No chance it can be done again. 2. We're going to have a tasting here with the grains. So we're talking about the other part of the experiment. So that was everything that was done in Boine. Shortcross have done an experiment as well. We are going to taste 2 different whiskies. That's not been done. We are also. I think there was a secret at the start. It's not really a secret, but here, if you are part of, and we're going to make this quite clear, if you're part of any society that has been given the privilege of being involved in this year's Irish Whiskey Award tastings, and you have been given a pack, if you want, you can attend the Belfast Whiskey Week edition of that tasting, blind tasting. It will be done at the festival. We did it in 2019. We're going to do it again this year. So again, something unique. We're the only society, I think, doing a come together. So Belfast Whiskey Club is coming together for that. And if you are a society member or you have a club elsewhere that's been given this opportunity and you are in Belfast and you want to come to that tasting, come to that tasting because we're doing it together. So, we've got some really unique things happening, really unique. And I think that you don't get that anywhere else. You don't get that in any of your great festivals around the world, which are happening. Absolutely fantastic festival. And fair play to everyone who's putting on something for the community because that's what we need. Thank you. And listen, for those that are really interested, you're going to meet very soon all of our co-commentators. So you're going to meet all of the co-commentators who are actually running this show, on a daily session by session through those 9 days. It's not me. I am not doing 95 whiskey tastings. No chance.
If only you could. If only you could.
No, I'm not even going to do 5. I'm trying to limit myself to doing, if I can do 5 out of 95, I'll be a happy man. You don't need to see my face every day. You've had enough of that going forward, from the last 3 months. You want to see new, fresh faces. You want to see diversity. You want to see people from other countries. You want to see people who are really getting into what this festival is all about. So, we're going to hear American voices. We're going to hear European voices. We're going to see women. We're going to see people jumping from different countries involved in this festival. It's not me. It's not Paul. It's other people. And they're the ones that are going to drive it. They're the ones that make you, with all these different brands. They're going to introduce them. They're going to talk to them. You know, it's a coming together. It's a coming together of lots of people, and that's what a festival's all about. You know, I want to engross myself as a participant in the festival. I don't want to just be running about like a blue arse flea, you know, on you know, during festival week, you know, freaking out. I want to just chill, have a couple of nips. Do you know what I mean? Join me for a couple of, you know, sessions live, because I'm going to have a couple of drams, and I'll be, you know, falling into bed in one of our partner hotels in the Europa or the Grand Central or somewhere. Do you know what I mean? So let's do that. I'm not saying join me in my room, by the way. If there's a party, I'll let you know. But there's lots of cool people coming to Belfast. Lots of cool people, and I'm looking forward to meeting them all. So yeah, and I'm sorry for keeping you, Matthew. And fair play for you for bringing me on tonight. Really appreciate this. Great crack.
All good, Paul. All good. I think it's probably about time we can wrap it up, because we've definitely come to the end of the time that we've kept all of these people. Alan just dropping in at the very end saying this will be epic. I love it.
Do you know what? I think my one message, if I can say this one thing, Matthew, this really ends the conversation about the festival. The festival is open to absolutely anyone from around the world to enjoy. That's it. There is no barrier in place. And if it's a fiscal barrier that's an issue, again, you know how to message me. You know what to, you know, talk to me. Like, have these conversations. But it's a festival with so much going on that really is a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer for anyone who cares so much about Irish whiskey, cares so much about whiskey going forward. It's a no-brainer. Like,
absolutely. If people want to find you online, hit me with the email, or hit me not the email, but with the social media links and the website.
Pretty simple. www.belfastwhiskeyweek.com, whiskey with an E. Instagram, it's Belfast Whiskey Week. Social media, Twitter is at Bell Whiskey Week. Facebook, Belfast Whiskey Week. My phone number, 077 367 5179. I mean, it's pretty simple. I just gave that out. But it's the same. It's been the same number for the last 20 years. You know, there's, you know, emails, paul@belfastwhiskeyweek.com. Inquiries at belfastwhiskeyweek.com. Look, so many ways to communicate. I will try my utmost. I'm better on the phone than I am on anything else, because at least I can talk to you. So you can WhatsApp me on the phone, or you can Facebook message me or whatever. But we really just want to be open, transparent, give as much information to everyone as possible. You know, we might have been slow in coming forward with those information for those tasting sessions, but literally watch tonight and tomorrow and be able to start witnessing all of those pieces of
everything's come forward.
But here, I am set. I'm genuinely sorry that so many of them have sold out. So sorry about that. But that's because people did have blind faith and just went for it and saw what was coming, you know.
Exactly. Perfect. Well, to you, Paul, thank you so much. To Connor Winders from the Irish Whiskey app, make sure you download that app, guys. Whether you're on Android or iPhone, it's on both. The last time we spoke to Connor, it was only on iPhone. He's on Android now as well. Get checking out www.belfastwhiskeyweek.com.
Yeah, that's it.
And listen, this is going to be a festival not to miss. It's going to be huge. I think we are going to hear a lot more about Belfast this week. But Paul, in the meantime, thank you so much.
Cheers, Matthew. Enjoy your evening.
Thank you so much.